always get off her phone.
I was looking
Yeah,
to
go
see
get
if
it.
it was live.
I don't know. He'll tell you.
Like last time. It was a good first trial.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You want us to keep talking, see if you can hear? Just a little different way.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's we're on YouTube Live. We normally record it, but again, we watch it normally sometimes on Wednesday night, but it's a Thursday night now. We're live. Last week was a double episode. Oh boy, that was a doozy.
Oh, it was hard, double episode, and then we recorded afterwards, and it was a late night.
Sure.
So I thought it was going to be a double episode again this week. So I said, hey, let's do this Thursday. Turns out it wasn't a double episode, but it was a freaking fantastic episode.
Great episode. And on top of it, who cares? Because there's so many other like podcasts that do it right after and be like, oh, whatever, or get the spoilers ahead of time. But this is ours. This is our podcast, and we do it this way. And here we are. We're going YouTube Live. We're recording. And, yeah, it was a good episode. A lot of things were going in the chaos episode. But where did the mix and match change us? Why did we think it was going to be another double episode? Is MTV just messing with us, the challenge? Is TJ saying, like, hey, it's chaos. we lied to you that was going to be a double episode. Yeah.
Well, tricks. Well, I did hear on Fandom, they said it was going to be a double episode, which if you haven't checked them out, I mean, Challenge Fandom, they're amazing. But I'd also seen it a couple other places that it was going to be a double episode again, to which I texted you and I was like, brah, like, we can't do this. We need our sleep a little bit more. We're, a little bit, I'm a little bit older. So
hey, it's cool in the gang either way. We're fine. Yeah.
So single episode 5 of the Challenge 39, titled Countdown to Chaos.
Yeah.
Freak yeah. So good. So it starts, and Kylan had just won.
Mm-hmm.
The clock says 13 hours to chaos.
Yeah.
So you were right, because I thought it was like days, and I'm like, oh, God, that's like a really long time. It was hours. And that got me excited, because I'm like, okay, what does this mean? Because to be blunt and honest, the Control was not very fun. Control was not my thing. This team.
No. It
was just a little vanilla.
The worst part about it is it exposed them that they weren't champions. Because the whole thing is supposed to be they've never been champions.
Right.
And they couldn't control their money situation. They don't know the game. And I think that's foreshadowing, to what's going to happen in this episode.
Absolutely. Asaf is like thrilled. He's talking to Corey, who's, by the way, his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear him say his best friend?
Sure.
Game's about to start.
I've known you for 2 weeks, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That was so good. Yeah. And we just see a bunch of conversations, and none of it really amounts to much pre the challenge, but they're kind of setting the scene. We do see Kieran boxing with Zara. Nerys said she wanted to pair with Jay because he's on the other side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a little bit of just people thinking about what they're going to do.
Sure.
We get to the challenge, and it's called Upside Down World.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy TJ says they're going to be in pairs, which I like. I like a pair. I like a duo.
Yeah.
Seen that a lot. They are strapped in a propeller on a semi.
Yeah.
They have rings. They're look like big hula hoops.
Yeah. Big hula hoops, absolutely.
And they have to That's the way I understood it. Or they were different colors.
But yeah, only like so many where they're like yellow that if you nail, it's like bags board or horseshoes. Like only so many had like yellow that if you nailed it, you get
Right.
5. The rest are if you nailed it was 10.
Right.
So it was like every other whatever else. But I don't mean to interrupt you. But yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, because when I first watched it, I thought, okay, they had to get it on the pole. But then I think that some, as long as they landed like on the target,
just like
color,
just like that, yeah.
Then they would get points. Jay called it a spinning truck of death. Loved that.
Okay.
Is this a challenge you would like to do?
Wouldn't bother me at all. I thought the exact same thing. I thought you would ask me this question because it's something we talk about. Yes, I'd do it. It was not something I'd love to do, but I wouldn't get sick. I wouldn't do whatever else. I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to do it.
I think it looks like a lot of fun, but I think trying to get the timing right would be difficult.
Yeah.
As we saw.
If
they had, we didn't know how many there were. Maybe TJ told us. I don't remember. But if there were, 10 or 12 or whatever, then you could really like figure out your timing.
Yeah.
But because there weren't as many, some teams really struggled. I also wonder in things like this, where you have a driver and then I just often wonder if sometimes people happen to be just a little bit closer than others. Do you ever wonder that?
It definitely happened.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know that. I don't think it was like rigged or anything like that.
No,
but I just wonder.
I
if
think it was rigged.
Like you can try as hard as you can to drive in a complete straight line.
But there's
sometimes
no
there could be
way.
wind. There could be.
There is
what I mean?
no way that someone's like, oh, his long arms, and the other ones are just that far. It just doesn't happen. Like,
right.
There's no way. Like, there is human error. They're not on a track. It's not like or whatever else. Like, I get it. They have to stay at the exact speed, but they're not on a track. I wasn't looking at it like, oh, I want this person to win. I want this person to lose. I just looked at it and said, no way. No way anyone can be that far off. Well, and in case in point, go back and watch the show, and you guys watch it, and we're not going to do too much of it. But they're like, oh, his long arms, that's great. Oh, my goodness. And then the rest of it's like, nope, we're just off. Don't know what's wrong with this. So.
Well, and then also the timing with the propeller. Like, it.
That thing has to be timed along with the speed. That thing, I thought the exact same thing you're saying, Sarah. My thing was the direction where it was, because I was like, that can't be true. There's no way at the end that they have to make sure, because I do believe in production.
Oh, for sure.
I think the human error was the.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was on like anything was purposeful. It's just when it is that way, yeah, the human error.
But that would also be production's error, like who's driving at the time. I'm just saying, like, I don't think the way you spin or whatever else, like, I tried to watch it very purposely, be like, oh, they're not at the same point as the next one. I don't think that was off. I think the driver was off.
Right.
So.
If I were the one driving that, it would, like, never be in the right spot. Even if I was, I can't, like, walk really well in a straight line. I can drive in the lane, obviously.
This is Sarah's way of saying, like, officer, go to my podcast. I've never been able to walk in a straight line. Well, obviously, like, I will tell you anyway. Go on.
So the pairs were randomly selected, which I thought was interesting because when he said pairs, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Like, who's going to pick who? Because there are those two different sides of the house. There's the Americans and then there's the international. As we were told like 100,000 times last two episodes. So the teams are Asaf and Michelle, Callum and Colleen, Kieran and Zara, Corey and Raven.
They're randomly selected.
Ed and Olivia, Emmanuel and Berna. That one definitely didn't seem random.
They're randomly selected.
Jay and Melissa, Kylan and Mariah.
They're randomly selected.
James and Nerese, and Big T and Horacio. Yeah, James and Nerese. Yeah, she already said earlier she wanted to work with him. Aha.
Randomly selected.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Okay. Patrick Ewing wasn't rigged to be a pick in the NBA lottery for the New York Knicks. Okay, they were randomly selected. Okay.
It's like the what was it called on the first Challenge USA? The it was like the randomizer. What was that called?
Sure. Well, yeah, they're just randomly selected.
If you guys remember. Corey, so the first team goes, and it goes okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I found really interesting was Corey was the first person to grab like a handful of the rings and drop them. And I was like, oh, my God, that was awesome.
Sure.
Because, like, it wasn't in the rules that they couldn't do it, but it was like in my mind I was like, oh, I didn't realize that they could take more than one. So that was like a risk that had a big reward. Corey and Raven in their interview had talked about how they needed to win because of where they sat in the house. Raven has kind of not been necessarily in the inner circle because of some choices she's made with the Americans. And then Corey, because he was on a different season, he's with a bunch of the international people because he's like, I've been on a season with them, so I'm loyal to them.
Yeah. And what did your Spidey sense tell you?
That they're either going to go in or they're going to win.
Yeah.
I know, the foreshadowing.
Like right away, I was like, oh, okay, I got this.
Did you think they were going to win, or did you think they were going to go in?
I thought they were going to go in. Not win. Yeah.
Berna and Emmanuel, that's definitely one I want to highlight. So he grabbed like all of the rings or almost all of the rings, and that risk was not worth the reward because there was no reward. And Olivia said in her interview, which I tend to agree with, she's like, you know, they're good athletes. I like them. But if my partner took all the rings, I would be really frustrated.
Yeah.
And same, yeah, because it's like
and you caught her at the end.
I didn't get to go.
She said I got one ring only. What happened? And he's like, oh, well, they're all gone.
Right. Yeah. And he, you know, he did say in his interview, he's like, look, I like take full responsibility.
Yeah.
I screwed that
you did
up.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated the maturity from him. But I did actually feel for Berna in that because I'm like, that would just suck. Like, okay, cool. So like, I'm just like hanging out here, literally hanging out here, and I don't like get to participate.
Yeah. Well, she participated.
Well, and these two, I will say, I thought for sure they were going to be real contenders because dance background for him. So that means like balance and equilibrium, like being able to like spot, you know, like turns and stuff, you know how dancers do. And remember, I don't know if you remember this, her history is she was a circus performer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, my God. And granted, I don't know what in the circus, but I think it was like trapeze or something like that. So I'm like, oh, my God, they're going to nail this. And it just didn't work out for them, unfortunately. Big T and Horacio were paired up.
Mm-hmm.
Cute because, you know, he said her name. She was adorable in her interview, and she said something along the lines of, I don't like roller coasters. And he's like, this isn't going to go well, in his, like, sweet, cute, charming self.
Sure.
And they ended up doing all right.
They did, yeah, they did well. I mean, you would think when it got
I thought
done,
they were going to win.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, I mean, they did a good job. But who couldn't be motivated by Horacio? Yeah.
I mean, seriously, love that man. So sweet. The winners are Corey and Raven.
Yep.
And before that, do you think this is the type of challenge we will see again? I mean, they'd like to do stuff with the semis.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. I mean...
It was kind of a twist on ones they've done before.
Yeah, of course. You have to jump off one, or you have to go run and grab a flag and get
I like
the other
the
one.
run and jump.
Yeah,
ones.
I don't think this will be one you'll see again, though. I don't. I really don't. It might be more with the timing, like you said. Like, is it equal the way they're going around? I thought they did, or the driver error. I don't think you'll see it again. No.
So now TJ tells Corey and Raven, you know, come join me. And you're going to get an extra power. Right now, select one man to send in. And, of course, Jay was going, chaos! I kind of like the on the spot.
No, it's not fair.
You don't like the on the spot?
No, not at all. They should listen. We may share the same name. We may share backwards hats. I don't like Jay. I just don't like the way he approaches things. He really thinks he owns the game, and he really doesn't. But
He's
beyond
friends
that,
with everybody, I think.
well, he definitely tried to do that and say that. But with the power comes the ability.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me the Spider-Man speech.
No, not ultimate responsibility. Not on the spot, but it's chaos. So we're going to allow TJ to run his game, okay? And we're not going to criticize it because it's part of chaos, and the chaos will work out later in this show.
Right.
It's just not that fair to be like, well, I nominated you because I was on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an excuse. You knew a long time, but I like more of come to me, tell me why.
Yeah.
I'll break it down, whatever else. And they kind of do it in the deliberation who's going to go in. But, again, I shouldn't say I don't care. They signed up for this game. Actually, I am okay with it. They signed up for this game. TJ can do whatever he wants with his game. So what happened is what happened. His reasonings are dumb, I believe. And I think her following along is dumb, but hey.
It was a hard call because everybody has relationships in the house, and then there's the, Team America, Team International, and then also on top of that, Raven is fond of Kieran, so there's really not very many people to pick from.
No, there's not, and Corey said it too, but it's like they said ahead of time that what's his name? Sorry, Asaf. He was like, oh, he's a friend of mine, or whatever else. But he's like, well, I have to pick someone. But Corey broke down his different relationships, and Raven's kind of saying I'm in this, I'm in this. It is a tough thing to do. So
For sure.
Chaos started, obviously.
And so he sends in Asaf, and he's like, he's just very upset. And I'm like, that's your bestie. And
Stop. Who else would you thought he would have thrown in?
If I were Corey, who would I throw
Yeah.
in? Well, it's tough because, I would say, James would be easy because he's already been in and he's proven not to have a lot of endurance.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen that very, delicate, nice conversation between the two of them where he feels close to him.
That was after.
Right, but
yeah.
just me knowing this as
Sure.
the viewer. You could take a big move and put in Kieran. But he can't do that because Raven says no.
What can you throw in Ed?
Yeah, that'd be an easy choice.
Of course.
I mean, I love Ed, but that would be an easy choice.
Do you? Love Ed?
He's given us just cute little moments.
Yeah.
Keeps it moving. Interesting interviews.
Will you
I
do
don't
me a
love
favor?
the little braids.
I'm gonna.
I do not love the little braids.
I was just gonna say, next week, will you please braid your hair the two
Dear
sides?
Lord, no, I never will.
Because why not throw an Ed? What does Ed bring to the table that all of a sudden he's like, I can't throw an Ed? Please braid your hair and do
I
an
think
Ed thing tomorrow.
Didn't they do a season together?
I don't care.
They did do a season together. The season he was on, where
Ed
he
is-
cleared up with Michelle.
I don't
Is
care.
that the
Ed's from
one?
the circle. It doesn't matter. They don't have this huge background. I swear to God. After Thanksgiving, because probably not doing one next week.
Yeah, likely we won't next week. It's the holiday.
You better braid those hairs and do it, or
God,
else I'm
it'd
going
be
to grow my
so
hair
weird.
out to
It'd be
yeah.
It's just not
it's terrible.
flattering.
No, so that's why he should be in. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, he should be in. All right, so he throws in
Asaf. And then I loved how we got to see the continuance of this conversation by the cars, when they're
Yeah.
trying to leave.
I
feel like it was everybody's putting down the cameras, and then he starts going at him, and they're like, Phil, grab your camera.
Well, yeah, 100%. But then Corey doesn't have anything to say. He's like, okay.
I love though. He said, he called him a coward.
Yeah.
Then he called him a bitch.
Sure did.
And he goes, I met you 2 weeks ago.
We talked about that.
I
earlier.
legit
Yeah.
had I had gum in my mouth, I would have swallowed it. If I was drinking something, I would have spit it out because I thought that was so funny. Because it's something that we've talked about before, where some of these people claim to be super close to each other, but it's you just met on this season. And granted, you know, we see it on Big Brother all the time where people have these relationships that they forge that become very, very close in a short period of time. But at the same time, outsiders looking in, it's like, yeah, bro, you like met this guy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, are you really?
And he nailed it.
You know, oh my God, I was dying.
Then they go back
I was
to the house. And,
dying.
Yeah, great. That is great. Then, like I said earlier in the podcast, said I met you 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh my God, I met you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but they act like they are just, the besties of all besties. So,
females are worried that they're potentially going to be voted in.
Dear Lord. Can we not
Specifically
wait
Michelle,
too long for this?
Well, I mean, it was here's the thing that we've talked about with Michelle. She makes sure there's a storyline. She does. Might not be a storyline that you care for, but it was probably a third of the episode. And it is something that somebody who's been on the show maybe 3-4 times could think about. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he said pick a guy, which they did, and they didn't think about that. But I was paired up with him, and this segment is called Chaos. So what is that going to mean? It could potentially mean that I'm going in. I get it. I was not thinking that at all at the time.
I wasn't thinking it until they broke it down, like TJ said, pick a guy, not like it's a guy's day. That's the only thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. But, Michelle, I get that you're making television. I think I can appreciate it because we've always talked about the good players in the challenge know how to make good television. But do I want to see you on my TV screen? No.
Oh,
so
okay. I think she seems like a decent human being, and
do
I think
do you?
I do. I follow her on the socials and stuff.
I don't care if it's a 15-inch screen or 55-inch screen or 75-inch screen. I don't want to see her on my television screen. So.
Oh wow.
Well, but you think she
she's
could be
driving storylines on the show, and I don't think she's a poor competitor. And I do think I do think though that this is double layered because her and Corey had been partners on, I don't know, whatever season they did before, 37?
Yes, you do, yeah.
And so they have this closeness. And so it
Then
felt
she's
kind of
mad
like
at
a
him.
1-2 punch.
Then she makes him cry, whatever else. Does
Yeah.
that make her feel good to make him cry? He's not trying to do anything wrong. He was faced with an opportunity on the spot or a decision on the spot, and then she's like, oh, you put me in harm's way. He's like, what the F? I'm not trying to put you in harm's way.
Right.
She makes a grown man cry, and she feels good about it, and then she turns around later, she's like, oh, I'm going to drink my pina colada? Like, she's not good. Come on, Sarah.
Yeah, I found her very irritating last season. I will say that.
Okay.
But I'm not necessarily irritated with her this season. I really love Corey. I really do. But I do see her being nervous and afraid with the way that things were at this point.
Her actions should make her nervous and afraid. That's it. It's got nothing more than in anything about this show or this season right now. She just is. She's got to poke her nose in a business that doesn't belong. There are going to be alliances that she just doesn't have to be like, oh my goodness, you picked him and now I'm up or whatever else. Could you pick my partner? She's got to calm down. You got to calm down sometimes. You just kind of, it's okay. Like, listen, the guy, I don't like him, Jay. He doesn't go out of his way to snake his way into other people's business. He's just a snake. He'll lay low. He's in with everybody.
Yeah, he is.
I don't like
the
him.
hurricane or whatever.
But he doesn't make the plot line. What he does when his confessional is like, hey, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, I know all their deals. Meanwhile, she's just yelling at people saying, like, how dare you nominate them? And he's like, wait a minute, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I just had to nominate someone. Like,
right.
And I don't care for either one of them. I'm telling you what the difference is and how the game's going. So,
yeah, we might just have to agree to disagree on that.
and that's why they don't win. And they won't win this one either.
You don't think?
No.
See, and I think that they have a pretty good chance because they have more. They have a lot of experience in the game, and they have survivor background,
Yeah.
athleticism. All right, we'll find out. So
Yeah,
at the bar,
I think so. Hopefully, hopefully we continue.
They'll
to
probably tell us.
Yeah.
on
Hopefully
the
we continue
show.
this podcast and watch the show. I don't know. Maybe they'll just stop it and be like, "Nope, everything's done." But yeah.
Bar night. Did that look like a manufactured bar again?
100%.
It had a name on it when they were like walking in, but it looked like that, like the manufactured bars,
Yeah.
like from they called it the No Fun Dome
Yeah.
on Ringer.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
It just looked like that.
Can we talk about the music?
What was the music?
Well, just house music, whatever else.
Oh, yeah?
And again, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna do this all the time for anyone who got nominated again.
Asaf.
Okay, how it was like house music, and then when they showed him Asaf, boom,
It stopped.
yeah, and then it would go back in, and everyone's dancing. They're doing the electric slide, and they show Asaf, and like, boom. I loved everything about it. I loved how much they did it. It was so great.
I didn't catch it.
Oh, I did,
didn't
because
catch
I was
it.
like, he would be like.
I always think it's
you know-
interesting with the dancing how they slow it down.
But like we always talk about, like if you're going in, you would not be drinking. Who cares if you're drinking a vodka soda or just a soda water? But it'd be him like just drinking a drink and be. Whoop. I loved it. I love that the music just.
Well, I
Stopped.
don't think he drinks, but yeah.
Doesn't matter. Didn't matter if he was looking at the drink, sniffing a drink, or just picking it up. The music just stopped, and it was only twice. But I loved it. Yeah.
Well, and he had me a little afraid because he was. Well, first of all, he said he was. He felt betrayed.
Yeah.
In his interview, he said it very Nelly-like with the pauses. Rossi was hyping him up, like, okay, like, what do you think you're gonna do? And he's like, well, I want to go against like the best guy in the game. And I'm like, oh God, is this some weird foreshadowing that you're gonna like pick Horacio? Because like, don't you put in my boy?
You and me both, sister.
I
thought
was
the
like
same
scared,
thing.
but then I was also like, well, I don't need to be scared because like Horacio would like clean up,
Mm-hmm.
it would be no big deal. And then probably my favorite moment of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
the Nerys and Horacio, like the beginnings of their love story. So she's dancing, and then she goes over and she dances on his lap, and it's cute. And then he has his interview, and he talks about how she's beautiful, and he's like, it's got me blushing. It was
Yeah.
so cute.
Listen. Yeah.
I am like so down for their like relationship.
fine,
It's
yeah.
so freaking cute.
Just he likes her. That's not what happened at all. Like he likes her, she likes him, whatever else. It's not the first time that she's been close to him. Come on, she's not gonna just in the middle of this weird downtown bar, basement bar, just climb on his lap. That is, he knew what was happening. He
I
knew
don't
what
know.
was happening.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean,
Don't be naive. She's not just gonna just be like, okay, now we're at this bar, and I'm just gonna climb on your lap. Like,
yeah, there might have been some more flirtation before that. Of course. Yeah.
they just didn't. They waited on it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Well, and then I also thought, was that shade from Jay being like, this is my friend and she's a party girl, and like I hope he knows what he's getting himself into. And I was like, I do not know these people, but I got like oddly very protective, especially like I always get that way with like Horacio, and now I'm like getting that way with Nerys, and I was like, you back off.
yeah, the guy's the worst. He's
You
the
back
worst.
off. Like their love is beautiful.
We talked about this before. Those babies.
Oh my God.
my
can you
goodness, yeah.
imagine? Beautiful.
So yeah,
Beautiful bilingual children. Gorgeous. Then there's the Corey and Michelle talk that we already discussed. We don't
Yep.
need to discuss any further. Corey, I feel bad for him, though, because he's like, I feel like I won and I lost at the same time. And at this point, this is where I'm thinking to myself, why is he taking all the heat and Raven is like taking like none of the heat?
take it where you need to go. Pay attention.
Melissa J. and Manuel were discussing then after the bar. she's like, you're not going to say my name. I'm not going to say your name. Whatever. Asaf said the next morning that he had a dream that said, don't pick Kieran. Says he'd pick him. I don't know. So whatever. There was some dream that he had. Moving on. Let's see here. Yeah, basically don't pick Horacio. He's unbeatable. Nominations. Whew. This was good. I enjoyed this a lot. Oh. So Asaf starts off strong. He's like, don't trust this liar.
Yeah.
About Corey. In the room
I've talked
when you're
them,
yeah, I'm in the room when you're not in the room, and I hear what they say. And I think that that's in regards to his size, right? Because he's smaller than the majority of the guys.
Sure.
And yeah, it was heated, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. I'll say it. Who would say it? And going back and forth. But you know what?
Oh yeah, who are you closer to? You're closer to this person.
It's more about okay, who we're gonna nominate, and like okay, and so it said like I want the biggest and strongest. He wanted Kieran, and starts off Kieran, but then they go through a couple people. I'm gonna say this name. I'm gonna burn this name, or whatever else. But who says their name at the very end?
Oh yeah, Kieran said his own name.
Yeah, Kieran said his own name.
Well, I thought the Manuel votes were interesting because I was like, oh, is this going a different way? Because it started out with a couple of votes for Manuel.
Yeah.
Who was proven to be a pretty decent athlete. So I'm like, okay. Jay got really pissed about that because Mariah said Manuel, which was confusing to me why she wouldn't say him, and so I'm curious how that's going to play out later.
Yeah, but you said my name, yeah, type of thing, and we've.
Again, they call out Horacio, and they're like, because it's like, do you feel like you're closer to, I think it was James, and he's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he goes, yeah, wait, I'm closer, and he's like.
And he goes to Horacio, and he's like, I don't know, it's hard to say.
It's been a great 48 hours knowing you, and 72, and yeah. He's like, I'm closer to them, and yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Like, who do you think you're close to? And everyone's like, we shared a devil's egg. It was great. I don't know if that was.
Did you say devil's egg? Is that what you say?
Deviled egg.
Oh, okay.
I meant to say sorry. But you know what I'm getting at. Like,
what's that?
Yeah, they were trying to get there. I think it was too much Thanksgiving and ahead of things. Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting. But then Kieran's like, "Yep, just pull me in."
Yeah, so it ended up with a 9-4 vote. Kieran's going in. And then we get to the elimination.
Chaos.
I thought it was funny. TJ's like, all right, and, here's your winners. Corey and Raven. Silence. Corey's like, what, no clap? And then everyone's like.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, everyone's just like, what's going to happen? And this is when TJ says the line that we've seen in all the previews. Freaking amazing.
Yep.
So excited to be the best.
You got to beat the best.
You got to beat the best. And everybody's already like,
to be the man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got to beat the man.
And then it goes into commercial and we see the back of the person's head. Did you think it was Jordan right away?
I did. Yes.
I thought for maybe a second it was Brad because I knew Brad was going to be on it. But then I remembered Brad has the tattoos on the back of his skull.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm like, is it CT with a different haircut?
They would have done his calves and thighs before for CT, no doubt about it. So.
Oh yeah, good point. And it was Jordan.
Yeah.
Which I think there could not have been a better person as far as a champion to start this portion of the show.
Okay. Yep.
9 seasons, 6 finals, 4 final wins.
Love it. Love the laundry list. Yep.
Send a contender home. He gets $10,000 from the final prize pot.
Okay.
And now we're back to the draw, which I thought that was another interesting thing. Okay. I like the idea of the draw because it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? We've got these two people that are voted in. Like, is he going to take them both on? Like, how is this going to go? Are they both going to, like, work together against him? And it's a draw.
Sure. All right. So this is where we're going to zig and zag on our conversation.
Okay.
Obviously, there's three things to draw from.
Mm-hmm.
One competitor, two competitor. What's the third? What
chaos.
do you think? What's chaos? He gets to pick Jordan, who or whatever the champion is, or does TJ get a pick, or the person who's voted in? I mean,
what
first.
if chaos means the champ gets to pick any?
See, that's the thing.
Other than the one that's a
that's
winner.
What's bothering me the most out of this.
That would be the best. That
we
would be the best.
So like,
is if like,
all right,
if
hear me out. Hear me out.
The whole line.
Yeah, hear me out. And like you, because of what Emmanuel said. That's your point. Okay, so you've got who's in? Kieran,
Asaf.
Okay, so those two are in.
Right.
So the third one
chaos.
Is it?
It's like a wild card.
What is chaos? And like,
I think it's a wild card.
But stop saying that. Like, it has to be consistent. They have to know that. What is the wild card? Does Jordan get a pick between those two? Does Jordan have to say, well, I'm going to bet $10,000 on Kieran Asaf or whatever else, which one that's going to stick around? Or does he say, like, I'm going to take someone else out? Like, I want my $10,000, but here's what I'm going to bet.
Because it's like, not
and that's what I don't like
about
it.
Like Jordan, they might be like, oh, I'll pick out maybe somebody that I can know.
That's what I didn't like about this. That's the only thing. And you sent me a Twitter or something about Kieran. I watched a little bit. I don't care for that guy. But like, is there a conspiracy that there's no way that chaos would have been in there? That mallet that he pulled out.
For the first one, I don't think so.
You don't think there was conspiracy?
No, I think that
it was
highly likely that chaos probably wasn't an option.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's
on the first one.
It's these two. I get to choose, or
because you're gonna fly him in, and then
I get to choose going against him, or I'm gonna gamble on them, or whatever else.
Well,
and win $10,000.
It's to the benefit of production and the show for the champ to go against one of those two immediately, and to keep us guessing about chaos. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So anyway, they pull it. Jordan pulls it. Jordan is, like we just said, his laundry list, his resume, is great as can be, and stacks are decked. So
cool. So draws Kieran, which is the likely more difficult competitor based on his reputation with everybody else.
Jordan is a what? How many times finalist?
6 times finalist.
3 times
winners.
Okay. Did we need pre-commercial and post for him to go, oh, to pull that mallet out? I mean, this guy.
It was so much longer than I was anticipating it to be.
This guy has done everything in the challenge. It was like, all right. Anyway, sorry.
It was longer than I was anticipating.
Terrible.
And there was sand. I was what's the sand about?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this guy must be tired. He's never gonna win in this thing. And they did. Yeah, I was like, this is insane. But okay, yeah.
It's like faking him out.
Yeah.
That would be something. He's such a showman. You know, he's such a showman.
Yeah. I don't think he did.
So it's called King of the Hill. There's 2 ramps, 3 lights, 3 buttons, one on each side. Turn your knob before your opponent does. Or, you race to the light.
Yeah.
1 minute per round. Best of 3.
Yeah.
Best of 3.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, what? I mean, like, it didn't seem like as much of a blowout as it was, but I was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, this guy could be, like, better of a contender than I thought. And, of course, we're also getting all these, like, interview pieces from Jordan. He's like, Kieran, sorry, it's got to be you. Like, I mean, just all of the
Sure.
stuff, all of the good stuff from Jordan.
So it's 6-3.
All right, and then it goes into the second round.
Can we do this? Hold on. Can we do this? 6-3.
Okay.
Young lady that likes Kiram
Raven.
says, he's grabbing you. He goes, it's all fair. Keep in mind, people, and you guys, probably the people that are watching this on YouTube and the people listen, they ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
They know ahead of time. And the champions ask questions no time. So she says, he's grabbing. He goes, it's all fair. I mean, he doesn't even look her way. She goes, she's grabbing you, Karen. He goes, it's all fair. He doesn't even look. He's just like not even dismissing her. He's like, it's all fair. At that point, I'm like, oh, Jesus. He's got something going down. He goes, it's all fair. They show them this King of the Hill or whatever the challenge is. They ask questions. This is not something we've begged for this for how many times
my
we
God,
talk about
yes.
this. Just show me the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because we would love it. Jordan had to ask 1,000 questions.
Oh, I'm sure.
Kieran had to ask 25. And every 25, Jordan banked that into his questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we've all seen it, but we're all watching this. Let's go into the second one because it is fan-effing-tastic.
Well, and I thought for sure they'd have to reset in the center in between each one. Clearly, that wasn't a thing.
Nope.
Surprised the heck out of me. It was bold. It was, well, and let's talk about being bold. Ballsy as hell. Jordan, second round, lets Kieran get 2 points. It does look like he's talking to somebody or something, like something had to be reset. I wasn't sure what that was. Yeah. But I was super nervous, and I kind of briefly told you about this earlier. I was like, is he giving him this round? Like, he can't give him this round because he lost the first round, but, like, what is he doing? Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, it's freaking Jordan, and the guy is ballsy, and he knows that he can beat him.
Yeah, tired him out. He did the Rocky 3.
Tired him out. Oh, Rocky reference. So those of you watching at home, take a drink. Jay made a Rocky reference. We should cheers.
Yep.
Cheers.
Clever Lang. Ain't so tough. Ain't so tough. Tired him out. Yeah. Made him run back and forth, and then got after it. And it was 7-4, right?
7-4.
And he gave him 2.
And I was like so hyped at this point. And I watched this episode at like 5 in the morning this morning, like really early, and hadn't even had my coffee yet. And I was like freaking hyped. I was like, this is amazing. It's amazing. Like this freaking guy.
But it gets better.
So then we go into the tiebreaker. And Jordan runs up to the light.
Mm-hmm.
And
beats him.
And waits.
Because
he's like, it's a minute. So like, I'm waiting out this time. See, and that's the thing with these champs. They know how to play the game. And by play the game, I mean play the rules.
Yeah. Like
They're
I
smarter.
just said, they asked 1,000 questions. He asked maybe 25. And Jordan just fed off his 25. He asked 1,000 questions before it even happened. Can I do this? 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 It was amazing.
Yes.
And yes, so he did it. Goes back and forth, lets him have one here and there. At one point, it felt
there
like
was like a tackle with like 33 seconds
tackled
left.
him, held him down. They had to do a reset. But there's another time where he just like goes the other side, and it looked like it went to orange twice. And I'm like, oh, production's messing with Jordan, and he was like, I don't care. Did it again. Pay attention to what they give you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing it to F with anybody. They just know. Sometimes they know the game. They've been doing it long enough.
Yes.
He's a champion for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It was an amazing. It's
freaking.
I'm
epic.
sorry. That is going up with Banana's Backpack as one of the most incredible finals
or
eliminations because psychologically what he did.
Yeah, freaking brilliant.
It was insane. I couldn't have been happier for him. I just thought. And walk away 10,000. He gets the shush crowd.
Oh my God!
Do you want to keep going? Because I can talk more about that.
Well, we can keep going on that. Yeah.
Emmanuel turnaround is BS.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, before that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, the thing with Kieran, like, I do feel for the guy because it's like, dude thought he was going up against Asaf, and no offense to Asaf, but I hate that because, like, when you say no offense, you're actually going to say something offensive. So,
Sure.
Offense to Asaf, he was likely going to beat him, right? Kieran
Who?
was likely going to beat Asaf in an elimination.
No.
I feel like.
No.
Then he gets Jordan, and like,
I not. No offense, I'm not doing that. No, he wouldn't have.
you don't think he
no,
would have beat
no, I
Asaf?
do not think he's. I don't care. He didn't win. Just like Jordan said, the guy can't win.
in his
Australian. No, he can't win Australian.
Asaf went home
chal-
first on the one challenge he was on.
I don't care. I also don't want to see a guy who's gonna like cry afterwards over and over again. You lost to Jordan. There's nothing to be said about that at all. But
Right,
he's
like, everybody
bawling
loses
his
to him.
eyes out because he's thinking, "Oh, it's too early for me to go." No,
I felt bad for him.
You got called out by a guy said, "I want to go against you." That's the way the game goes. Then you called yourself out, and then you're gonna cry on a camera in front of a camera, dude. How old are you?
I felt bad for him, and
Well,
it
good.
was-
He won your vote for him to come back. Guess who didn't win his vote? He didn't. Guess whose vote he didn't win? TJ's.
What did TJ say?
Did not give him. We'll see you soon.
No.
Pay attention. No.
What did he say?
Said, it's good for you. Good to have you here. Did not give
no
him.
kidding.
Pay attention,
I
Sarah.
didn't.
He did not say.
I was just like wooing
we'll see
around
him
my
soon.
house after the Jordan.
He said, nope. Good to have you here.
Wow.
Did not say we'll see you soon.
Oh dang.
Uh-huh.
Oh dang. I don't know. You think it's gonna go one way, and then all of a sudden you get like a beast, a goat, and you're like, well, that's not the way I saw this going. I'd hyped myself to go against this.
That's
Little
weird. In
dancer
a
guy.
game? You didn't know sometimes in Monopoly you had to go straight to jail? That's weird.
I'm just that's my point with like seeing his being upset. That's all.
Don't cry when you have to go to jail. You landed on
If
it.
I had to go to jail, I would cry
No,
so
I'm talking
hard.
about Monopoly. You're playing a game. The whole thing is a game.
Yes,
like, you don't
right.
cry.
I realize, yeah.
And when you do it, when you did it, and when you landed on go to jail, and your parents, and you're like, that's not fair, and your parents are like, well, you're in jail.
right.
You didn't go, oh man. Your parents think, oh, and like, oh, you got to roll like 2 6s in a roll, or else get out of jail free card. And you're like,
Right.
no, it's not right. And I go, oh, well, that's what happens. That's how the game Milton Bradley
The way
did
the
it. Yeah,
cookie crumbles.
I didn't do it.
It's the
Milton
way
Bradley did it.
Kieran's cookie crumbled. Ooh,
It's
all the
TJ's game or
alliteration.
whatever else. But I'm telling you, TJ didn't say, well, I'm sure we'll see you soon. He said, it's been good.
Well, it's telling.
Maybe that's why you shouldn't bawl your eyes out afterwards. Dear Lord.
Okay, I feel for the guy. It's okay to cry, you know.
You know what? You can do Shaka Khan all you want. I feel for you. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, it's.
Now, here's what's interesting going forward, though.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go into the Manuel. So now Asaf
Yes.
is pissed
Of
at
course.
Corey. So
Uh-huh.
this is going to be really interesting moving forward. I think Corey and Reedman are going to be in some hot water.
But what we think will be a women's week next week.
Right.
Sure. So
Uh,
Raven's got to be the one.
As TJ is doing his goodbyes, that's when Emmanuel turns around. Because, you know, Jordan's given, like, a speech, like, I think there's going to be you guys all want to be champions.
Mhm.
You know, it's worth it. It's great. I think there's a champion here. Compliments Horacio.
We have been doing how many of these? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
how many of these? If you go back from like season 1 of our things, I'm like, I don't know if I care about Jordan. I don't know if I like him. I don't know. The dude speaks well. He said
speaks so
right
well.
when he came in, TJ, you've got a great group. Look at them. They're solid, whatever else.
Mhm.
But, you know, I'm here to take $10,000 and I'll do it in a heartbeat. Shh, he shuts him down. And then afterwards, he gives a speech. And Emmanuel turns around. You know what?
So disrespectful.
Yes. Okay. So sorry to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
yes, I thought Jordan was so great during this thing. Emmanuel turned his head around, and then he has to talk in his one-on-one confession, whatever I call it. Yeah.
Well, and he said, Emmanuel said something like, I want to see you down there. And Jordan's like, I hope you get the chance.
No, he said you could have come down there,
Right.
and he's 100% correct. All he had to do was go like, TJ, you know what? I'm going in. You know what TJ would go? Peel off your layers. Let's do it.
Right. Oh, that would have been good.
so for him to do that, I mean, because we've saw it. They did the same thing with the draw, where Jordan goes, pulls over L3.
Didn't work out for him. He went home that time,
But the thing is like you are putting yourself in that situation. And Emmanuel's like, I want you, and he goes, you could have done it. He's not lying, because Asaf could have said the same thing, because he's like, I want the best of best. He could have gone, wait a minute, and he did say, he goes, how does this work? Like, oh, they pulled, and he goes, he could have gone, no, I want the best of best. I want him. He doesn't have to go. I want to be the one. He could have pulled a Jordan.
Instead, he did the Homer going into the bushes.
Yeah. Pay attention to your history of the
like,
challenge.
Ooh.
Y'all could have been in there at any point if you really want to say it. Walk the walk, talk the talk, be the man, beat the man. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Preach. That was good.
No, I'm dead
walk the
serious.
walk, talk the talk, be the man. It doesn't matter. I like
if he's going to sit there and say, like, and I'll see you soon, and Jordan's like, okay, I'm coming back for another $10,000. I don't know. I got to be in Argentina, do IG Live somewhere or something. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll fly back.
He's racing cars now professionally.
What?
Yeah.
This is insane. Yeah.
He's on like a tour circuit. For real.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Of course he is, because he's amazing. It's Jordan.
Right.
Okay.
So Emmanuel turns back, then turns back around, blah, 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 yeah.
Categories. Who won the episode?
I had this in my head earlier, who won this episode.
Easy would be Jordan. But I also, I really liked Corey. I thought Corey kind of like was the episode. But Jordan would be the easy layup.
No, he doesn't win the episode.
You can come in for 10 minutes and win the episode.
The guest spot. It's like, I don't know.
There are people that have guest roles that get an Emmy for their guest role on an episode.
Yeah, this category called the best supporting actor, actress in a supporting role or whatever else. Yeah, same thing. Oscar. They don't call it the best actor or actress. Who wins this episode? Who loses the episode first? It's Michelle. Jay.
I gotta go Kieran.
I'm going with Kieran.
Yeah.
He's worse in this episode.
It was just not a good showing. I feel bad for the guy. We could circle back to one. Best line. I gotta go. I met you 2 weeks ago.
That's the best line.
That was freaking amazing.
Yeah, that's the best
I met you 2 weeks ago. What would Nelly do?
My brain's still rocked on. What would Nelly do? Let's see.
Would have been cheering on Horacio and Nerese, because him and Nerese are old friends.
No, he wouldn't have been doing that. Nelly would have done something completely ridiculous. What would Nelly do?
Nominations.
Oh, now during nominations, yeah, Nelly would have definitely got his face in there and started telling everybody and got his hands, be like, "No, he's not a coward. That is your friend, and you guys have been there the entire time. And he would have never been friends with any one of them. So
it would have been something like, Asaf says Corey betrayed him. He did betray him. That's his boy. I've seen them. That's his boy. I don't know why I'm overdoing.
No, you didn't. No, you're doing really good.
Do him that high.
No, I think you're doing really good. Really good. I feel bad about mine because you did really, really well. You'd be like, they're supposed to be boys. Asaf and them are boys, and I've seen them be boys, and they are my boys. You did a good job. Yeah, that was really good.
These are so good.
That was really good. Yeah. I appreciated that. Yeah.
Circle back to who won.
Who won? What? I don't know. Who would win this episode? It's. I feel like I knew it though. That's the thing. And then what did I lose it on? It's not really.
Nerese.
Why?
Because she got to dance on Horacio like we both would like to.
All right, that's pushing it a little bit. Now.
It is.
I mean, our little intro last one was about Horacio, but she wears a dress well.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. It's not
All right,
TJ.
well, let us know.
No. It's not TJ. There's got to be someone there. I know we talked about it or whatever else. Not TJ, because TJ was not good in this episode at all. Sorry, TJ. I mean, you're great, but like, I don't
I'm
know.
stick with Jordan. Honorable mention Corey.
I'm gonna go with the draw.
The draw won the episode.
Yeah, because now we don't know what's gonna happen. So
yeah,
it's
what is chaos?
Yeah, chaos won the episode. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, chaos won the episode. Yeah.
Well,
So.
awesome. I don't really have any tea.
You don't?
Other than like I did the poll on our Instagram and everybody pretty much agreed with me that this episode was a freaking A.
This one?
Solid A episode.
Oh, it's good.
There is some sort of different conspiracies going on about how that elimination went. You can look online and kind of see. Some people are saying that like production was helping Jordan. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you sent it to me. I didn't look at it, but of course, yeah. I mean, it's okay.
And then there's also another thing saying, in regards to Mariah's, cheating in a relationship that wasn't really a relationship on Bananas. Well, he has said that he had hooked up with Corinne when he was filming House of Villains, which filmed actually before this.
Mm-hmm.
So timeline-wise,
hold on a second.
so they're hating on Mariah in this, and I actually even hated on Mariah in this, like last week, for allegedly cheating in her non-relationship
Sure.
with Bananas. But people went online and they did the timeline on when he filmed House of Villains.
Yeah.
And he has said on, I think, his podcast or Jax Taylor's podcast that him and Corinne hooked up when they were filming House of Villains, which filmed before this filmed.
Okay, so
They don't know that we know they know. We know.
Listen, I know you guys. I know you guys have stopped watching or listening since then. Let me get this straight. There's a relationship between Bananas and
Mariah.
And people are upset that
They were
Mariah,
spending time together, but not
hold
official.
on a second.
Okay.
Mariah with James.
Correct.
Okay. And instead of Bananas being like, "Hey, don't get mad at Mariah," I cheated on her on this other show well before, so it's okay. Like, just
he did not say that. It just people put the timeline together on the internet.
You just said he was on a podcast or Jack
Taylor's,
yes.
and they asked if they hooked up when they were on the show, and he said he confirmed without.
Oh, so then the timeline was made. He didn't say it.
People figured out the timeline.
All right, Bananas. If you
it's like a nothing biscuit, like we're all just like out here trying to.
Well, it's a
gossip.
something biscuit. I'm talking about. I'd just be more appreciative. He's like, yeah, it'll cut her some slack because, I didn't hear whatever else beforehand. But
instead, it was like someone tweeted like, "Hey, you're not even on the season, and you're part of an episode." And he's like, "I know."
Of course, live rent free. Bananas. The only Bananas I like is Hannah Bananas right now.
Oh,
so
he's killing it on House of Villains, though. I will tell you that.
I haven't watched a single episode.
Dude, you gotta.
Dude, I don't gotta.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube, we're Final Alliance Podcast. Please comment, subscribe. We love to hear what you have to say. And on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we're Final Alliance Podcast. Thanks for watching.
I'll shave next episode. Promise.
Oreo, I'm asleep.
Even if we're not.
I have to be
like
so
that.
bad.
You're crapping me.
I know.